This is part 2 of my video for Scott Covey. I am in my room all bundled up now. I'm on my Voyager tablet from Walmart, and the hackers, they cannot disable the camera system in this tablet. But I heard that Google and the Chrome file, the Chrome programs, the Chrome books, and they have been sabotaged. There are lots of hackers also infiltrated into Google, the corporation, and they have been disabling people. They have been spying on people. This is not against Google. Every good corporation has infiltrators. So, I like the Chromebooks. I will always buy Chromebooks. I love them. They're absolutely amazing. But obviously they are the 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 the, the Chrome camera system seems to be an easy target for hackers, which is very unfortunate, but they cannot disable the camera system in the Voyager tablet, so that's really, really good. And so we need to have Elon Musk create a completely new computer system for us that cannot be corrupted, that cannot be infiltrated into, and all of this, and sabotaged, and all of this. So that would be really awesome. So always these technological problems with computer technology, and this has been going on for a very, very long time. But so I want to shed some light onto psychology, in particular male psychology. I have been trying to understand men. I've been trying to understand the male psychology for a very long time. This has always been a puzzle for me because my brain doesn't work that way. I am very, very different. I only understand fully straight women like myself, and it is very difficult for me to understand people in general, but particularly understanding the male brain. So that is very, very difficult for me. But I want to understand you guys, better. I really want to understand, and I'm a good listener, and I am compassionate, and I have compassion for you. I am a moderate feminist. I am definitely a feminist, but I'm not a radical feminist. That's something that I have been wanting to say to you guys, so I don't want to be misunderstood. So I'm not somebody who will turn it all the way around and do this, like feeling victimized and wanting revenge and wanting to turn it around and wanting women to dominate anything. I don't want anyone to dominate anyone. Okay, I'm against that. I'm against dominion of any form. Okay. I'm against that slave morality mind state that Friedrich Nietzsche was talking about in his books. I'm against people thinking that they are victims. I want people to empower themselves. I think this is very important. I'm empowering myself, okay? So I know that we women are equals intellectually to men, and this and this has been suppressed. Women have been suppressed for centuries, okay? Now is our time with, as I said before in my videos on Nikki Daisy Dandelion, where I uploaded the first part for this video here, and it only let me do it for 3 minutes until it completely cut it off. That's how the hackers have completely damaged and almost completely destroyed the camera system in the Chromebook. Very sad, and I have no idea how to fix this. So the most it let me do this uploading, recording for 3 minutes, and sometimes it's more, sometimes less, and that's it seems like they are spying on me. It seems like there are so many programs running in that system that it completely shuts it down. So kind of a little bit analogous to people's brains. Also, I observe that people are overloaded with too many psychological programs, and I see this particularly in men. And the chat room has been very eye-opening for me over the years, and particularly this one chat room that I call our group therapy chat room. So, and where I have been in that one pretty much only in that one. Sometimes I went to other chat rooms, to other science video chat rooms, but I kept coming back to that one because that one has this a very consistent group of people that I have been talking to. And once I've been talking to a couple of people, just as friends, and gotten to know them a little bit better, then I tend to come back to that group of people, because even if I can't really call them my friends. A lot of people warned me. They said they are not your friends. They're whatever, they're narcissists, they're malignant narcissists, and so on. But I'm also trying to understand the malignant narcissist. Obviously, there is a child underneath that is badly traumatized, okay, and they need to be understood as well. So I want to understand. I want to dive into psychology deeper, and philosophy, of course, and all of that ties in with one another. I think it's very important that all of these mechanisms become more conscious in society, that people are becoming more and more aware of their own psychological mechanisms, of their defense mechanisms, the ego. And so the more aware we become, the more we can heal ourselves, our minds and bodies from the past trauma, because most humans have been traumatized, and women have been traumatized in a different way than men have. In general, they're always marginal numbers, and in the coordinate system, of course, they're always, but I'm talking about like the mainstream of statistics, the most numbers that fall into that mainstream graph on the coordinate system in statistics. That's what also makes psychology into a science. But Sam Wagner is questioning that as well, because he says that that's not reliable enough to have statistics. But statistics, that's the best we have in order to look at the situation. And that no experiment that we make in psychology can be repeated in a very clean cut way a second time. Yeah, that is probably true, because our minds aren't even the same from 1 hour to the next. So that's very true. I agree with him on that. But these are tentative approaches. These are approximations of understanding the human psychology better. And it's getting awfully dark. It's very dark. But whatever. Maybe I should turn this on. Bring some light into it. I don't know. Some light into it? No, that doesn't help. Okay, that's it doesn't matter, whatever. It's okay. So, but yeah, so I've been observing people in the chat room, and I'm also observing myself. I observe my own reactions. I'm not some kind of distant, like a robotic type of scientist who is observing something like this from the outside. I'm in the midst of all of this with my own emotions, and it's not always easy for me to sort all of that out, to know, where do my emotions begin and where do the other people's emotions end, and where is the line, and how do I stand in all of this, and why do they trigger me in this particular way, and why do I trigger them in a specific way. And so how much is childhood trauma, and how much does my estrogen play a role in all of this? It plays a humongous role, obviously, in all of this, and that makes it sometimes quite diffusing and quite difficult to sort all of that out and to know, haha, what am I doing here, and what am I feeling, and what am I needing, and all of this, but I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand myself, and I'm trying to understand other women, and I'm trying to understand the male brain. But that's my main goal, to understand you guys out there, So it's very, very difficult, and so I learned a lot now, and particularly during 2020, that entire year and beyond, I am learning a lot about men, and it's very interesting. And I also talk to my brother once in a while, and my brother is exactly part of all of you. He is thinking, and he also reveals things to me, and he has been revealing things to me throughout my life, and also when we were teenagers. That was also quite interesting. I didn't really know what to make out of that, but now all of these things are starting to make sense more and more and more and more. So what I see is that men, they want, this is very interesting, and I don't want to make someone feel uncomfortable with my videos, but I think this is very important that we talk about it. I see that I would say, this is just an hypothesis. I don't know if it is true, but this is what I observe, at least what comes across to me, what I can pretty much determine what's going on, is that all, and when I say all, this is a hypothesis. There may also be exceptions, always, to some broader picture that I see, or that I particularly observe. There's always exceptions, of course, but from what I can determine is that all, or almost all, straight men are sexually attracted to big, all chubby, compassionate dog moms, and that's what I observe, So you can see that on Pornhub, you can see that on X videos. They collect their own data, they collect their own statistics. You can clearly see it, you know. When they interview, let's say they interview a room of 20 men, straight men, and they ask them, so what kind of women are you watching in your private time on the internet? Almost every one of them will say, oh, I like skinny, athletic. The trophy wife type of woman. That's the woman I like. The pretty. I have taste, I got standards. I also see people talk to each other. I see men talking to each other like this. They want the male respect. They want the caveman respect. And then when they look at they have done psychological experiments like this. And then when they discover, but they keep that, of course, they keep it confidential. They don't want to expose the guys to the public with their names and whatever. So like, haha, I got you, you looked at the chubby woman. But what they found out is that almost all of them lie, and they actually go and they watch the chubby woman. And actually that's where the name MILF comes from. It is, and there were men also that told me that as well, that admitted all of that to me. My brother has admitted that to me, and my brother hides behind a very arrogant facade in society, but he has admitted that to me, and I was shocked, really, and I never forgot about that, what he said, that he actually lusts after the women with big fat bodies with big boobs, and so whenever he saw me naked, he would make sure and get the heck out of the room as quickly as possible, and even make a face like ugh, and and it hurt my feelings because I thought that he disapproves of my appearance. But then he admitted it to me that he didn't admit that he likes my body, which I'm very sure he does, but he admitted to me that he feels really he feels very ashamed and embarrassed about it, that he has lust for big women with big boobs, and that goes against his political correctness and his pride in society, because the girlfriends he chooses, they are they're all very, they have been, particularly in the past, they have all been very like window doors, and they are like very athletic, and they didn't have big breasts. So, but this has shifted a little bit in recent years. And so then the woman he married had bigger breasts and was a little bit chubbier, had a little bit more feminine body, and he has a daughter with her. And the woman he's with right now also is more in that direction now. So he's become a little bit more true to himself with this. This is very good. But why would he say that he feels enormously ashamed about that? About lusting after a woman with a bigger body and big boobs. Where does this shame come from? That's my question. And So I'm trying to dig into this psychology of that and trying to understand and trying to make sense out of the behavior of men in the chat room. Many of them are intoxicated, and as the night progresses, they reveal more and more and more about their urges. And it has been very, very confusing for me because I have feelings too, so I feel like I said before many times, I feel like I am naked and blindfolded, and I'm being shoved around and groped and touched, and different men whispering things into my ear, and I have no idea who anyone is, how they look like, what they want from me, why they say these things to me, why they run off afterwards after saying it, why they hide. When I turn around and say, "Who are you?" they walk away. When I say, can we talk on Facebook, on video chat, I have asked some, and they will make excuses why they can't do it. And I've been thinking about why that is. Why would they flirt with me very heavily? And a lot of times I have ignored that. But when the combination happens between a man coming up to me, and most of them I don't even know how they look like, they'll come up to me, and for example, let's take MPPP, it's like the perfect example in all of this. He'll come up and he'll do heavy flirting, and he will also directly address me, not just in some roundabout way, not just with the lyric pseudonym, like the lyric alias, or some wrapped into some kind of, oh, this is just a song, that makes me so mad I want to throw a cake in their faces. So, but MPPP has actually addressed these songs towards me, and said not just lustful things to me, but not just like crude lustful. He has done that too, but he's also said some very romantic things, like he wants to go into the jacuzzi with me naked with candles all around, and that's a very romantic type of situation. He also said he wants to kiss me and all of that. And so that enters into, for us women, that's very dangerous territory, when once they get into this, and there are my emotions coming up. We also want to, of course, we like being lusted after, but we do not want to be play around with. We don't want to, a man, particularly not the malignant narcissists, the way they flirt, they throw insults. That's not what women want. We don't want to be insulted. But what really gets our hearts is when someone like MPPP comes up and says these kind of romantic things. He probably forgets the whole thing the next day. It's like goes into complete amnesia about it or something. He's like totally drunk when he says, and he has a girlfriend at home. He lives in LA, and he has a girlfriend. He'll even talk about her. I tucked my girl in bed. Now let's flirt. That deserves a greasy, greasy birthday cake in the face. That is so incredibly, that makes me so mad. Makes me want to punch my pillow. What a liar. And then last night. So this is what happened. And you saw it, Scott. You probably, if you paid close attention, you saw the reactions. There was total chaos in the chat room, and I couldn't make sense out of anything they say, and they were like really incognito with everything they said, and they said a bunch of real stupid, silly, nonsensical things, and I was wondering what's going on here, are they all totally drunk or something? So I finally, and there was an energy that was bad, like, this energy of avoidance, of of hiding, and there was also a hostile energy towards me that I could sense, and I was wondering why. So I finally said, I said, okay, I have nothing to lose. I also want to be a role model. I live by example. I'm gonna say it, the way I feel it. I like Scott Covey. So I think he is gorgeous. He shows his photo, his face. You're very strong, and you are athletic, and you are muscular, and you ride your bicycle for many miles. That's very impressive for us women. And so I know that obviously a lot of women like you, and I know that Emmy likes you. So I can tell, even though I didn't see her comment, I can tell by what you write back to her that she is definitely interested in you, and that's all good. It's perfect, and I respect you, and I wish you happiness, and I hope you two get together. So, but whatever, I'm here as a friend. I'm making these videos as a friend. I just want to shed some light onto the psychology. So when I said to you that I like you and I would love to get to know you better, and I mean, first of all, as friends, and friend zone, that's not a bad thing. As I said many times before, it is good to be friends. And for me, I have been date raped, I have been beaten up. I am very careful who I engage with in a romantic way. And I'm not even looking for like a lifetime partner. I'm not even, the situation doesn't even have to, where a lot of women, they are looking for this, Mr. Right, and marriage and those kind of, first of all, I'm against marriage. Marriage hasn't worked out here. This is bullshit, okay? This is an outdated institution. And I'm against life insurance, which these two things go together. I've talked about this many times. I'm against that. I am for long-term monogamous relationships. I am for real love, but I'm not even looking for something like this. I mean, I could meet someone and just have one good night together, and then he goes back to wherever he lives. That is completely up to the guy, and we can also just be friends, and we can get to know each other psychologically and just be friends, and help each other psychologically feel better, feel more understood. All of this is is completely cool with me. Or if a man doesn't like me at all, then, like Zayn, for example, he completely doesn't like me at all on any level, then cool, good for him. I wish him the best. I just hope that he doesn't come back with another account and then does some psychological retaliation, which I think he's doing. So all of this is incredibly immature and makes me mad. So, but I see that with so many men on the internet and in the chat rooms. So this incredible immature, this double-faced, these lies, and and these covert games, like hidden games, and it's very confusing for us women to be toyed around like that. And I guess for a lot of men it's very unconscious. They're not consciously aware of any of that. So I need to talk about all of this. Very important. These kind of things, they need to come to the surface. I think this is very important, that it is the time now, with the internet and with this, what Sam Vaknin calls this horizontal society, where we have true egalitarianism, between women and men, and where our minds can flourish and can be seen and heard. Okay, and it's wonderful. So, and that everyone's brain can be seen, and that everyone can contribute something to move society forward, to bring a healing process into everyone's brain and psychology and bodies. So healing, we want to focus on healing and on wellness, on making the world into a paradise, which we could. The potential is there, but we have to be willing to introspect and to look at our own flaws and character problems and all of that, and say, okay, so I have been unconscious about this. Let me bring this into consciousness. Let me not run away from this anymore with whatever, with alcohol or drugs or whatever people are using. So, but bring it into conscious awareness, and 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 look at our own minds, and look at what we really want from our life. What do we want from this existence that we live in? This body, this society. Do we want to question society, or do we want to accept everything hook, line, and sinker, and just let society dictate our lifestyle for us, because we are surrounded by other people that also let society dictate to them? So for me, this doesn't work, has never worked. I'm a truther clown. I'm an artist, brain and body. I think outside of society. I question society, and this is my chance now to speak to the public and say to all of you, if you want to become happy, you have to question society. You have to question Hollywood, and you have to question social standards and norms. Okay? And you have to be brave to stand against it by your own example. Okay? You have to say, I made a video for Nikki Daisy Redwood yesterday. I uploaded that one OnlyFans video onto it, in which I'm talking about sexuality and the porn industry, and 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 how these things are being compartmentalized and completely detached from one another, because society wants to live this double life, of thinking that the porn industry can't fit into the genre of beautiful movies or independent movies. So they think this cannot be combined. I say it can be combined, absolutely. And this whole fuss about nudity and all of that. I'm from Germany. We have nudist beaches there. So what I see here in the United States is unimaginable oppression and 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 so much shame. You know, I see this unbelievable shame that's going on. I think I'm gonna turn the disco light on because the disco light looks better. This is just too dark in here. I gotta turn my light. Alright, it's better. Yeah, it's much better. Okay. I'm finally warming up. It's good. Yeah, it's not, the light is not very complimentary, but whatever. So, anyway, like my feet get cold easily, so I like that disco. That's my only light that I have in here, in the my disco lamp in the corner. So I say we can combine all of this. We can combine everything. Everything is one unit. We are living, breathing, feeling, hormonal beings. We are animals. We are not above the other apes and four-legged animals. Okay, we are part of this. We are part of what they call the animal kingdom. Okay, and we are not kings and queens in this at all, you know. So if anyone wants to call some species queens and kings, then they will be the humpback whales and the blue whales for sure, you know, the macrocephalus, those very large whales. Those are the kings and queens of mammals on Earth. Okay, but they're out of mind, out of sight, because they're in the ocean, and nobody wants to acknowledge that. Not even scientists, not even marine biologists want to acknowledge that because of their egos. They don't want to acknowledge that those are the actual most advanced brains on this planet. Much more advanced, not just in size in general, but also in brain-body ratio and in Giri and Soki gray matter convolutions. So there's a lot more. There's a lot more brain mass. There are more spindle cells for cognitive reasoning, and the medium they live in is just very, very different. That's why it's very different. That's so, and very, very, that is so complex and so difficult to communicate with them because their language is so completely different, and what they experience is so completely different from us. And they are basically like an alien species who is more advanced than we are. Okay, so we need to find a bridge language to communicate with them. And Dr. Jack Kasowitz, marine biologist, is trying to figure out a way to communicate with whales and to create this bridge language so that we can actually talk to each other. So I hope that they make progress with that, but a lot of people will not accept that. They want to see themselves as, they want to identify with the species, and they want to see themselves as superior, but the human species is not superior at all. So the blue whale is the largest mammal on Earth, and I believe they are also the most intelligent of all. So, but you know, the human ego is a very, very convoluted thing, and I'm trying to understand it better. I personally, you know, it's very difficult for me to understand egos because I don't function that way. very much. I don't see myself on some kind of, I don't think that I have to be on a pedestal or something. So it's maybe my ego functions in a different way, so because of my upbringing, because of the childhood pain that I have experienced. So probably it's just that it shifted away from the usual self-argandua that other people are practicing. It's, for me, it is something else. For me, this has more to do with my childhood trauma, which is my mother did not love me and she did not cuddle with me, and so my emphasis has then become more like is on this cuddling and is on this wanting a man to hold me and love me, the way I am. And so that there's a huge trauma there, and I am gradually healing that by expressing how I feel also to other people. And I know that the only chance I have with this is to go into my own mind and to go into what I really want, to become completely clear on what I want. I don't want to struggle with other people anymore. I don't want to struggle with men for love. I let them be the way they are. I feel compassion for them. I want them to be happy. And I know that the only way that I can love myself and that I can help and heal myself is if I love myself the way I am, and I do, and if I go into this inwardness meditation process and feel 100% what it feels like in the present moment. I start with the present moment. I want to be loved, I want to be held, and I say to whoever I'm in love with, I say, Scott, in this example right now, I say, please love me, but that's not directed at you or meant to put pressure on you. This is my own inwardness meditation process that I do in my own room. I will say it to my pillow, Scott, love me, please love me, and please want me the way I am. And be strong-minded, and don't care what other people think, and love me, and stand by my side, no matter what, no matter how much people are hating and bullying, and love me and feel me and see me for who I am. And when I even talk about it, so much pain comes up, and the reason why so much pain comes up is because my mother has not loved me, and my mother has also bullied me. My mother is a troll, okay, just like the trolls in the chat room. My mother has huge jealousy issues, and she could not allow me to develop a high, normal, healthy self-esteem. She had to trample down on it, and it is now that I'm working on this. It is now that I'm healing it, and it is through these tears, and it's through this very expression that starts in the present moment with the man I'm in love with. I express these needs, and then through this expression I'm healing a little piece of my past. I'm healing a little bit of the trauma. And I also go into the actual trauma. I go into this core feeling that's inside of my solar plexus energy area. The core feeling of I haven't been loved, and it was my mother who hasn't loved me, who I needed to love me wholeheartedly, like I love my papa dog in that same way. She even made fun of me, and she said, "You're gonna be a mother hen. Ha ha ha, how that is so low class," and all of this. She thinks being a big all mother hen and being all loving with big boobs and all of that, she thinks that's low class. So she has trampled down on my self-esteem in that way. Okay. But I'm not letting that happen. I'm not letting her get by with that. So I am working on myself, and I'm very radically honest with myself. And if anything, she turned me completely against this, against her act out of, and her arrogance in society. And I see many people like this that are, my brother is totally like that as well. So I hope that my conversations with my brother can help him understand this better, and shed more light onto it. So for his own mental development. So, but I think so I don't want to make this video too long. So is there anything else that I wanted to say? I try the very best I can to give good health advice and to be compassionate and nice, and I get triggered sometimes, but I take whatever triggered is, whether it's anger or need or physical needs, I take that into my own space and I leave other people alone. I don't try to elicit something from other people. This is very, very, very important. That is so incredibly, that's the foundation for our own healing process, that we leave other people alone, that we don't come as troll energies to other people or try to do role play or some kind of psychological warfare and cruelties. And I see all of this happening in the chat room. All of these, these sneaky little stabbing, triangulation attempts and all of that, the retaliation attempts, the cruelty, the sadistic stuff, psychologically sadistic stuff that's going on. They accuse me of being sadistic because they're projecting that's their own behavior that they assume that they will insinuate into me. But that's not who I am. So it bounces off. It's not who I am. That's a misunderstanding of who I am. They don't reach me with that. I don't do that kind of stuff. Okay, that's only their personal interpretation of things. I don't do cruel things. Okay. So if someone says something like, "Oh, Nicola said this or that about you and really mean," or whatever, don't believe it. That's the haters that are trying to. The haters, they would hate it if you love me. They would hate it so much they couldn't stand it. Okay, and that's a fact. If you loved me, and if they found out about this, they would be so incredibly devastated. I don't know what that might do to some people. I don't even want to think about it. So, but as long as you kind of you're like cold, or you're indifferent towards me, then it doesn't affect them. Then they feel justified with their approach and with their bullying, and with their they feel like they're dictating to everyone who to love, and they feel like they're in control of the situation. So they themselves don't allow themselves to love who they love, and and they can't allow you to love who you love and whoever you love, so, but that's what I needed to say. I think this is very, very important. Okay, take care. Bye bye.